Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the fall/winter edition here of Track Talk. We're live at the WDAY studios. Addison, how you doing? It seems like we just left here.
Yeah, just a couple moments ago, walking through the building. How long has it even been since the last episode? It's been the world has changed. It's a different world outside now.
It feels like June. Kind of the May, June, the way the weather's been, it's still cool in the morning. Yeah. And, almost feels like that little bit of a break, though, from racing got me fired up. I'll have to tell you about the little racing experience I had while it's going on. So we're trying something new tonight, which I'm really excited about. I've always had the phone out and everything, and trying to do the Facebook Live. Addison has it working. So we're live right through the WDAY studio cameras now. I really like it. That's pretty cool. Great job, Addison.
Yeah, no problem. So just in case anyone on the Facebook stream is watching and listening, and if something doesn't look right or sound right, you can fully blame me for that. I won't know what's wrong or why it's wrong, but I'll know something's wrong.
Yeah, but let us know. Let us know if it's not working or something, because this is new to us. We're going to try it this way and see what happens. I suppose you didn't even hear about it, but yesterday's NASCAR race, they had a record number of cars involved in one accident.
That sounds exciting.
28 cars were involved in one single accident.
What was the accident? What happened?
On the back straightaway, somebody got turned into the wall right in front of everybody, and everybody just kept piling in. It was insane. And that brings me to a good question. I would like to know, really, is everybody fans of the plate racing where they're 3 and 4 wide all day, every day, where you can lay back, stay behind the draft? Like Denny Hamlin made it through it because he had been kind of damaged up in another wreck earlier. But over the years, I've seen people try to hang back and still get involved in a wreck, or hang back until 20 to go and they've won. I got to see a replay of the Bill Elliott one where he ran the pack down and unlapped himself and got back on the lead lap and still won the race. It makes me wonder, if that is a better style of racing, still for sure. It's hard to say. Some people say, back then only 10 cars used to finish on the lead lap. There's all kinds of things. But they've dropped the horsepower. Everybody said, they could be doing 250 miles an hour at Talladega. Yeah, but they took away. Even Carl Edwards said this. He's not interested in getting back into a car because they took, 400 horsepower away from these cars. They're down to 550 horsepower cars. So to him, it's not as exciting because you don't have the power that you used to have all the time. So I don't know. I can't tell. It wasn't as good of a race as I thought it would be. I listened to it. I didn't get to watch it. Traveled down to Detroit Lakes, looked at Josh Wengler's sprint car, picking up some parts and getting some suggestions and ideas to kind of change mine over. And because we had a little incident down at Park Jefferson Speedway in South Dakota, which we'll talk about a little bit later. I'm taking this time to get a little more acclimated with a sprint car because moving up from the Lightning Sprints. For those that don't know, we jumped into the 305 Race Saver class here at the end of the year. See if we can race some Friday nights in West Fargo. And they are going to be at Buffalo River Speedway 10 times in 2025. However, highly unlikely you'll see me behind the seat of it at all. We'll probably try to put it on the track with someone in it to help the car count, but it would not be me. I've got enough duties and responsibilities on Sundays. But very much looking forward to seeing how that class continues to grow. And then our Lightning Sprint Nationals, just talked to pretty much everybody today. We're on for the dates. All the tracks are going to be pretty much the same as last year. We got a detail to work out on one. So we're pretty excited about that. Trying to think of what else. Before we get off NASCAR, Michael Jordan, Denny Hamlin's team, filing lawsuit against NASCAR and with Bob Jenkins from Front Row Motorsports not signing the charter agreements. I really wonder how this is going to portray. Is NASCAR really a monopoly? Is it the good old boys club? How much does NASCAR really make? How much are they really paying out? Um, you know, I'm sure all of the France family is very comfortable, but do they own everything? And do they monopolize it? Is there an opportunity for another series or team to start, or another series to start within the United States that could compete potentially against NASCAR? You have rival sprint car series. You have the High Limit and the World of Outlaws. You've got the Lucas Oil late models or World of Outlaw late models, along with other touring series. Is there enough million and billionaires that can afford to race in NASCAR to have a competing series? Is there enough racetracks? Is there anybody out there willing to build any more racetracks? Those are questions that I would like to know. Let me know what you think. Is there room for another series? Also, we're going to end up taking a break here in just a second, but did you go to any fall specials in the Red River Valley area? If so, which ones? What did you like the most about it? What didn't you like? Let's talk a little bit more about special season, because that's what time of the year it is right now. We're going to take a quick break here on Track Talk, our fall edition. We'll be right back. Addison, is this stay live, so I should really watch what I say when we're gone? They'll see me. All right. So if I pick my nose, they'll see it. All right. Sounds good. All right. We're going to be right back here on Track Talk on 970 WDAY. Hey, everybody, we are back here at the WDAY Studios, 970 AM, 93.1 FM. You can catch us also on Facebook Live. We're streaming live tonight here using our new technology finally. Chris says he needs sunglasses to watch. It is it's better than the I'm telling you, it's high definition here.
A bit of a different angle, different lighting.
Yeah, it's not looking up at me from down below with the camera on the little stand from my iPhone, so.
I'll give him this. It is a slightly bright picture. I will work on adjusting that overnight.
It is, but it's kind of neat. I wish you guys could see.
You get that full studio light.
Yeah, we need to get you the whole full studio light. I can turn down the lighting in here a little bit. You can have a little mood lighting. I can go play with the switches during the commercial break. So before we went to break, we were talking about Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin. They became friends over the golf course here many, many years ago and business partners. I'm sure he's probably... Denny runs the day-to-day operations pretty much because Michael Jordan's probably a little too busy. But, Michael and Denny's a very outspoken person. And I'm not going to say he's right or wrong. I'm just going to say I never have liked him, period. So half the time I don't pay attention completely to what he has to say. But some of the points he might have some validity to. Obviously, if you look at it this way, I look at it this way. If Dale Earnhardt Jr. and his sister Kelly Earnhardt say they cannot afford to run a NASCAR team, and Hendrick Motorsports claims to have never made money in the last 10 years, what does that tell you? I mean, it probably is very one-sided towards NASCAR, I would think, because owning half the tracks that race on the series and all the TV rights and everything, you would think that the scale must tip a little bit towards NASCAR, wouldn't you, Addison? Don't you think they're going to take their percentage of it?
I'd think so, yeah.
I mean, it's their business. It's their business model. But I'm really curious to see is when all this plays out. And here's the problem I have with it. It's going to drag out for a year or 2 years. This is going to drag out for a while. Like Denny Hamlin's team has tentatively bought a charter from Stewart-Haas Racing, but it's going to sit in escrow until this whole litigation's resolved. So they're going to run as an open team, depending on what happens for next year. But I'm going to hear about this. You're going to hear about this in the news. Every race you go to, it seems like, I bet you for the next year, it's going to be just like this. So I don't know. That is probably the most disappointing thing is it'll take away from some of the racing. And right now there's some exciting racing going into the final cut race here. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. And then we'll talk some specials. And we're waiting for a call back from one of a regional driver here to see if he can make it on tonight. So we'll be right back here on Track Talk, 93.1 FM, 970 WIAM. Hey everybody, welcome back to Track Talk. We're in our fall winter edition, first episode, I guess you could say, of the fall winter edition. I can't lie, Addison. I got to tell you this. So the boss man had sent me an email like a month ago and asked if we were going to be doing Track Talk this winter. And I kind of was thinking about it. I'm like, gosh, I need a little break. Did people like it? And so I asked some friends and I'm like, did you guys like the winter show? We talked to a lot of people that were not from around here and did more regional stuff. You remember we got some ARCA drivers and different people on than we normally have. And they said, yeah, it was really good. And plus it kind of keeps you on schedule and if things happen around here in the winter, you can be on stuff. So I kind of forgot to email him back. And about a week ago, I get an email and I said, yeah, sure. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. So I figured he needed some time to get the salespeople to amp up a little bit more, give him a little bit more time. I got in my truck this morning. I turned it into Bonnie and Friends. I'm on my way to work this morning. And what do I hear? Yeah, if you want to, they're doing the sports, and they said, yeah, if you want to find out more about racing, just tune in to our racing expert tonight, Jason Berg, Track Talk. All things racing starts tonight, 6:30 p.m. And I went, what? It really does? Right away, I emailed you and the boss right away, like, we start tonight for real? I thought it was a joke.
Surprise.
And you found out today as well.
Yeah, I was sitting at my desk, and boss man walked up to me and was like, so you ready for Track Talk tonight? And I was like, is there Track Talk tonight? This is news to me.
Well, it did say it in the emails, but we just both chose to think that, well, because, I responded late, maybe there was a 3-week gap in there. I mean,
I don't want to set expectations around the workplace by reading my work emails. Yeah. That's the last thing I want to do.
You don't want them to think you're productive and on task, are you?
Exactly.
You got an image protect around here.
I try.
Again, another year has gone by and you didn't go to the races.
It's still a work in progress.
So I have a feeling that we could do something next year. We should have our listeners do something to you if you don't go next year. Like we're going to bring you out there and throw water balloons at you on the front straightaway or something up at the flag stand or something. We have to do something. Marty, the glare, I think he took the glare down a little bit, didn't he? It looks good on my computer. I mean, I always say I have more of the face for radio, but I think there's a good, clear picture here. I think it looks pretty good. Marty, how are you doing? Hey, I got a sprint car that needs a little fixing. So you need to come back from Alaska for a couple weeks here, and let's get to some fixing. Marty used to be my former crew chief, and then he went to live his dream life, him and his wife, in Alaska. And every time I talk to him, it seems to be agreeing with him real well. He's enjoying himself. So thanks for tuning in, Marty. So anyway, when we first got that 305 car, we raced it the first weekend of Buffalo River Speedway. I actually got 4th place in the feature my very first night. Man, I thought, boy, this is going to be easy or something. The next night, I think I got like 11th or 12th, something. I don't know. It wasn't great. Went to Park Jefferson, was really excited to run down there, and clipped the Uke tire the very first lap in the heat race, and went around the next lap and spun out. And honestly, I probably should have not continued. And I was having a little bit of trouble seeing a little bit, and I gassed it, and apparently the wall was right there, and I don't know if my foot just hammered the wall or the pedal or if it's stuck, but it got me 90 degrees where everybody in the pits could see the bottom of my race car. Thankfully, knock on wood, I did not flip and damage any of the wings, but I did destroy the rear end of the car. From riding it on the wall. So that's a cha-ching $1,000 right there. Racing's just so inexpensive, Addison.
Inexpensive? You just said that's $1,000.
I know. That's probably part of the reason why I decided to do Track Talk for the winter. I need to pay for a new rear end.
$1,000. That's $1,200 more than I've got in my bank account.
Yeah, I mean it's expensive. Racing is good. Thanks, Steve. I'm glad you Steve says the picture looks good.
Steve's on our side.
Yep, Steve's on our side. That's
Shout out
right.
to Steve.
The other guys just like to hack on me, so I mean, I wouldn't expect nothing less. So, anyway, I had a great time. They took that facility and they shrunk the track, and they did it all in like a 4-week span. And I was really impressed. I would say that the only negatives I took away from this, and I don't mean this disrespectfully or in any way, shape, or form, is I wish the walls would have been painted a white or a yellow so you could see them a little bit. That would have helped myself, and it I didn't really. Maybe it was just the helmet issue. It seemed a little dark to me, but it probably maybe it was more my issue. However, near the end of the features, and it had produced some really, really good racing. Hands off to them guys. They did a great job. In fact, I want to get one of them on to talk about that weekend. Maybe next time we're on, I'll reach out to them. It got to where I wish they would have pushed the tires out in the middle of 3 and 4 to the exit of 3 and 4 a little bit, just because they were literally down, it seemed like, in the infield racing, and it was creating so much dust, and there was no passing at all. It was, you barely missed the tire, you screamed down the front straightaway. You had to get to the bottom. I think maybe if they'd have pushed it out, they could have maybe got a little room. But it was a really, really neat racetrack, and I really liked the work that they did to it. And, I mean, wow, hats off. I mean, it was awesome. I know we're putting new dirt down at Buffalo River Speedway this fall. I'm really excited about it. I'm really also anxiously nervous because that's just my nature. I don't want it to – you want it to be – a 10 right off the bat the first year, and this is the first time we've done something like this. But heck, you know what? 4 years ago, it's the first time we ever promoted a racetrack either. So, I mean, you got to try it and do it and see if you like it. But we're going to be working with a great company, I think, that is going to do the work for us, I believe, and they know what they're doing. So I have nothing but the high expectations that'll be done and race ready come spring, and it'll just be fantastic. There was a good article, and I don't know if you get Speedway Illustrated, anybody that's will listen, but it had a couple really good articles in this month. Obviously, the one on Scott Bloomquist was a great article. Scott Bloomquist, there was a really cool picture of him being young in there, and it looked like it had a radio behind him. That must have been back in the days when they allowed some communication of radios. And he looked really young, but it had some great stories. And I've heard so many positive and negative, different stories about Scott Bloomquist, but through it all, he was a character, and people always kind of, there was a mystery about him. So it was a great article, but there was also another article in there about dirt, and they said even if you aren't using chemicals and things like that, and they said, chemicals are a Band-Aid. You should get the clay and the dirt, certain percentages they were saying down, send it in to get a soil sample and all that stuff. You also need to look at the way the classes you run. It got it down too. So, I mean, I thought it was a really neat deal when they talked about what classes of cars could help kind of decide how you should prep the racetrack, if that makes sense. I thought it was really neat when you read some of that information, things I didn't know. I certainly did not know how to prep a racetrack. I had that Monday morning quarterback knowledge, I would say, 10 years ago, 15 years ago from being in the flag stand. 2 years ago, Dev taught me a little bit of how he did it. And then from then, I did it part his way and part my own way. And some nights it works, some nights it doesn't. But it's certainly even when it doesn't work, it is not from a lack of effort. I mean, if you count the number of hours you put into the track, believe me, when you're standing on the back straightaway in front of the grandstand and you're getting dust in your face just like the fans, and it's not a very good product of racing, you are just as disappointed as they are if it's not a great product. So I'm very excited about this new dirt to see what it does. So if you don't have Speedway Illustrated, I recommend that you try to get your hands on that copy and check it out. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. There's lots more stuff going on here to talk about here on Track Talk. You can tune us in on AM 970, WDAY, 93.1 FM. Hey, go to Track Talk Live with Jason Berg. You can check out all things in the studio here on the awesome camera edition that Addison did. We'll have to figure it out. I got to let Addison log into Facebook all the time every week now. So I got to remember to log out so you don't do like Thomas and post stuff on my page.
Well, you never know.
I've done that before, and all of a sudden Jay posts something. So anyway, we're going to be right back here on Track Talk, everybody. Hey, everybody. We are back live here at the WDAY studios. Tune in to 970 AM, 93.1 FM. Hey, drive by, give us a wave. It's a little dark out there, but this is a great view when there's a little bit of sunshine here over the southern part of Fargo.
I didn't even realize until you pointed it out. Like 10 minutes ago, the sunset was like,
I know.
Where'd the sun go?
When I walked in here, Addison was sitting downstairs because, JT, I still haven't got my key fob back from when you took it away 2 years ago. Addison had his sunglasses on. He's like, oh, man, it's so bright. I honestly, the show's been clipping along. I didn't even realize it was dark until I took a look back there and I went, wow, it's dark out there.
We can't see any of the car. Well, we can see the headlights, but I choose to believe all these beautiful people are waving at us as they drive.
That's
by.
right. Hey, everybody, see, we're waving at you. Hey, how you doing? Do you think they could actually see when the lights are on in here?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Somebody drive by on I-29. Let me know when you're coming by, and I'm going to wave at you, and you tell me if you can see. That would be kind of neat to know. Anyway, gosh, man, I forgot. Oh, so the Pennsboro Speedway, I used to read about it in Stock Car Racing magazine back in the day, and I saw pictures, some old video of racing and stuff on there. Barry Braun and his crew have took on and undertook the task of trying to make that place a racetrack again. It has wooden bridges in the middle of it covering a creek. And Devin Moran, and he's a national touring late model driver, and some other locals around the area and modifieds and stuff. They had some pictures, and they had some jersey barriers, but they weren't all the way up. They were kind of gapped. So I wouldn't want to direct, but they were turning some laps there. And what I could tell is it's going to be a really, really tight racetrack. It looks like the comments made by some people were, you didn't go there for the racing. You went there for the atmosphere and the partying, because there's actually no grandstands. You sit on a hillside, which, I think is kind of cool. When you grab I liken the fact to when you see places like Eldora, just large places where you can, Victory Lane Speedway, when I was up there, you could sit on the grass, on a blanket. You could throw your own lawn chairs down there. I wish at the Buffalo River Speedway, we had an area like that where you could sit by yourself, and, have your chairs and stuff like that. I just think, well, it would help expand seating to your area, but I think that's really cool, just from the atmosphere. Did you watch any of the racing, you guys, this weekend for World of Outlaws sprint cars? Williams Grove Speedway, I think it's iconic. I went there when I was a kid. I probably thought the racing was better than it is nowadays, it seems like. However, there was a lot of movers this last weekend, but the fog on Friday night was unreal. It was a fog out, and it made me think of the very first King of the Dirt at I-94 Speedway. I remember I was flagging, but that night I was the race director. We had Jeff Saar from Jamestown Speedway in the flag stand in my place, and I remember coming out and walking halfway down the grandstands down to where I'd be at about track level to see if the drivers could still see safely and race. And it was still one of the coolest things in the world. I actually wish that I had a video of that. If somebody ever had a video of that modified race, I would love to see that still. I don't know if it's on YouTube somewhere. I think that would be still a really fun race to watch. Big race is still coming up. I-94 Speedway this weekend. What is it? The Gopher. I got to look that up. I don't even remember what it is. But I know they're racing this weekend. I know they've got the Legends. Oh, let me look it up and see here. There we go. Oh, yeah, that's what, Tim, to answer your question, during the break, you cannot hear. That is something that everybody will have to get used to. Compared to when it was through the phone, you could hear. I'm just typing it up here. Chris Steppen, where's he at? There he is. All right, so you'll have to get used to that. You can't hear me during the break. Man, so the last race they had at the Fall Classic used to be in Alexandria, but he moved it a few years ago. they had 300, what is it? 327 race cars. There is a couple of people that I think that would really not like 327 race cars, all that racing and all that. I've heard comments of that you don't like to sit through that much racing. I understand on a regular race night. Would you be, are you more apt to be excited about a 3.5 hour show? Absolutely, I think so. When it comes to special season, however, are you okay with a longer type show? Is that something you expect? Because I always thought that, and just my opinion, obviously, and my opinion alone, that say when you choose to go to the Stock Car Stampede, you're not going specifically just for the races. Because it could be colder, unlike this year, than normal. It could be really, really, really cold, where snow flurries on Friday night and, sunny and warmer on Saturday. But it seems to me you go for the atmosphere, the hanging out with friends, and to see the same people that you haven't seen since maybe last year. It's more of the gathering. And the fans, I think they know that when they're coming to a special, they're the diehard fans. I would say, to me, in my mind, it's an 80-20 probably type thing. Do you agree or disagree with that? That's what I think. I mean, I think if you're going to go to a special, as a fan, it is a year-end type race. There's a lot of classes. They advertise a lot of classes, and you're going to need, if you're going to pay some of those purses, you need those classes. Racing is not the same when you had early in the days, you had the Wasota modifieds just starting out, but you had the hobby stocks, the late models, and 360 sprint cars and 410 sprint cars in this area. And that was it. That's really all you had. Everybody wants race. I'll tell you this, as a promoter, trying to put together a schedule and there's a special event you're having or a race that people want to go to, and you have to be the promoter that picks what class gets that night off. That's a tough decision, because as soon as you post it on the internet, you're going to have people that are going to be calling you and, why'd you leave my class off? We're going to get this many cars. It's a really tough decision on what to do. I can't imagine on a special like Chris's, he had left the Legends off this year. They were on it last year. And he got quite a bit of feedback from people that he had thought wouldn't be here due to a conflicting race on, ended up having over 20-some cars that, because people reached out to him, and now they've got another class on top of it. So is that going to preclude you from going to Fergus Falls because of the number of classes? Some people say yes. I've seen some people that have posted, and you see it post a lot, that they have displeasure with longer races and stuff and whatnot. I would think that you would know that going into it, that you're going to have a little bit longer race. So anyway, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back here on Track Talk. We'll talk a little bit more about specials and finish up this conversation I was on. You can always call into the studio, 701-293-9000. I wish I could tell you the 800 number. I don't know it. Addison probably doesn't even know it off the top of his head, do you?
I was too focused on the Steve Miller band. What were we talking about? Phone numbers?
I know the 701-293-9000. What's the 800 number? Somebody wants to call in.
There's an 800 number? Man, you know more than me, apparently.
Yeah, no. Hey, when you got a cell phone, Verizon or AT&T, there's no long distance charges anyway. It really doesn't matter, right?
I guess that's true.
So hey, if you're out in Max, North Dakota, combining, or way up north in the Greenwich area, 701-293-9000, give us a call. We'll be right back here on Track Talk. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to our first fall/winter edition here of Track Talk on AM 970, 93.1 FM. Sitting here high atop the WDAY studios, just right next to Thunder Road. If you ever want to stop in and say hi, we'll kind of the first show there. I will admit, like I said, I was not quite prepared for the show to kick off tonight. Hearing on Bonnie and Friends this morning, I should pay more attention to JT's emails, though. But I appreciate the fact that JT's kept us on the air here. I mean, we just passed season 10, Addison, last fall. That was season 10. 10 years I've been doing this.
That's very impressive. Congratulations
It
for
is.
one.
I mean, a lot of people don't even last in radio that long. I mean, it just started off as a little show down at the old WDAY Dungeons, and it was a half-hour show on Saturdays, and we got it rebranded, did it on Monday nights, and now it's expanded to an hour and a half. I mean, that's kind of a neat deal.
I really, not to get off topic of the show, but I love the constant, like the little bits of lore I learn about the old WDAY studio, because every person I have ever heard in this building, they've always referred to it as the WDAY Dungeons.
Oh, it's horrible.
I know nothing about it. I don't know where it was or what it was like. All I know is that everyone calls it the dungeon.
Yeah, it was down by the old WDAY courthouse down by WDAY courthouse, by the courthouse downtown, in the Island Park area, kind of in that area a little bit. And the TV side was up like 4 stairs, so it wasn't really upstairs like it is here. It was like 4 steps. You were on that level, and then you went down like 6 stairs to the downstairs, and it was kind of funny when you're reading the weather. You'd be like, "Yeah, it's hot, sunny and 85 degrees," or they'd say, "Hey, thunderstorms are rolling in," and you'd be like, "Wow, I better go check on commercial break here." You had no idea. Like here, you can see everything that's coming at you and what's going on. It's night and day difference. If you were to work there, you'd appreciate where you're sitting right now.
It's probably why they put so many extra windows when they built this half of the building.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it really is. So, for those that are NASCAR fans, I'll finish up. I kind of roll back and circle back to that. Standings right now, as they kind of sit here, it looks like. You've got Willie B up at the top. C. Bell is in second, not far back. Kyle Larson third. Denny Hamlin. Could this be the year Denny Hamlin gets his first championship? Man, I hope not. Not just because of the lawsuit, because I still just don't like Denny Hamlin. I'm not saying he's not good. He's an excellent race car driver. I just don't like him. Alex Bowman, one of my favorites. Kyle Larson, obviously, I'll go back to. I like because he runs dirt and IndyCar and everything. I think it's really cool that he does that. Ryan Blaney, I've always been a Blaney fan because of his dad and his uncle. Tyler Reddick, same thing. For those that don't know, did you guys know he started off in dirt late models? I mean, he obviously started before that, but that's when I first became acclimated with his name. Chase Elliott, how can you not like Chase Elliott, Dad Bill? Sliced bread, Joey Logano. I have never been a fan, still not a fan. Is he a great race car driver? Yes. Now, I'm kind of bummed out to see if Daniel Suarez doesn't make it to the next level. I don't know about him. What do you guys think of Ty Gibbs? Let me ask you that. You're looking through here. Do you think Harrison Burton's going to do better in the Josh Berry car? Those are just questions I randomly think of. Anyway, I'm going to go back to the specials thing. Like if you're going to go to Fergus Falls this weekend to EMR Speedway and see Don and the crew there, are you going to be upset if the races run 6 hours that night? I'm going to say no. About the only thing I'm going to complain about maybe is if my butt hurts or I'm tired the next morning because the races were late. If I win, I'm going to stay and I'm going to watch till I don't want to watch anymore. And that's my choice. You don't have to. I've seen people leave after certain features on a regular night. They only want to see, say, the sport mods because maybe they know somebody in it. Or they might stay to the legends. Or they might stay till the short trackers at the end because they know somebody in it. However, some of the people that complain about it, I wish they'd ever have to write a check sometimes to pay all the bills at a racetrack, so then they would realize that sometimes you need to hit certain numbers just so you can keep the doors open for um, entertainment and a place for people to race and provide the entertainment for the people. And don't go give me this work harder, do, because I feel that a lot of promoters around the country work really, really hard. Now, are there some that don't? Yeah, absolutely. Just like everything, there's your boss at work might work really hard and you don't, or your boss might not work very hard and you do, kind of thing. It's but there's so much competition right now, from every new business that's coming in that's generating interest from people, from sports teams to just very different things that capture people's attention. And, you got to really fight with a lot of different things. And it used to be so much easier. The things that some of these people talk about and they write about and they share, they talk about things when they were great. Yeah, they used to be really great. It's not that way again. How do you get people back? The people are not the same anymore that they used to be. That is the whole dynamic of everybody has changed since then. When you used to go to, I remember going to Jamestown and Stock Car Stampede. I remember going to sit in Mitch Johnson's hauler. I went down there to help pit with them guys, and we would have his wife Dawn's chili. She would bring chili that was like a tradition. And the people that would go in and out of the trailer and the conversations that would happen and to hear some of the stories. One of the best times I ever had was during a rainstorm the night before the Stampede, hanging out with Corky Thomas, Matt Peterson, and Larry O'Brien in the front of the trailer, just laughing and busting up and just having a great time. And those are things that I think that not everybody nowadays gets at the races. It is all, and I'm just as guilty now, even at 53 years old, that you are looking at your phone a lot more. And it's not that you're just looking at your lap times, which are great that you can get to now and see right away, but you're looking and texting and not having those conversations with not only somebody in your class, the car next to you, or even the people that are with you necessarily. And I think we're losing some of that stuff. So, one of the things I want to talk about after our last break here is I want to talk about some of the improved safety things that came out. I'm going to get one of the drivers next time we're on in 2 weeks, that utilize these items, and I want to get a little bit of his feedback on it. I've heard nothing but positive things. So we're going to take our final break here on Track Talk. We'll come back, wrap up our first week of the winter edition here. Tune in, like I said, AM 970, 93.1 FM. Give us a shout. You still got a few minutes, 701-293-9000. We're going to be right back here on Track Talk, everybody. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to our final segment here. We're live in the WDAY studios. Just found an important piece of information. I mean, I knew you could not listen on the commercial break, which is different than it used to be, but I didn't realize that you couldn't hear the bumper music. So you're probably wondering, what is he doing bobbing his head? Because, you know, we're listening to some good music. I mean, he's playing some good bumper music right now. You guys, he's playing the Beastie Boys, and you guys can't even hear it. It's just...
Bumper music is a radio exclusive.
I know it is.
At least I'm pretty sure it is. I'm 90% sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of neat. So one of the things I want to talk about, Casey Usadas brought this up, and it's funny that he did because I've been looking into it for 2 years. They use it in the late model WSOTA Challenge Series in the late models, and they used it Light Seaver, which is a division of Race Seaver. They sponsored the WSOTA Street Stock division at the WSOTA 100 at EMR Speedway this year. And it is a really cool tool as far as I'm concerned, as far as safety. It is a light that you can mount around the roll bar via just some zip ties. There are other ways you could put it in there, but it basically is run off a control module, and or it can be plugged into your light system at your racetrack. There are additional wired and or battery lights you can add around the track, which we are going to do some addition of some safety lighting around the track this year, I believe is the plan. However, with this light seaver, if, say, our flagman hit the yellow light, it would turn on a yellow light in the dash of your car. So you would have not only the race seaver, which, if your race seaver was faulty, or if, like, there's tracks, and I'm not going to mention their names, I can't hear anyway, and I've spent a lot of money on good earphones. All I hear is static and garble. Half the track, and the other half I can kind of hear, but when we're actually racing, I can't. But now, if when Don talks, I've heard him, and I've had the race receiver in, and I was racing, I can hear him perfectly. I think it all depends maybe what kind of... And I would have to ask somebody that does the radios. I'll have to ask Paul sometime to come on the show. I don't know if it's the frequencies of the radios or what, but some tracks are really better than others in going into the receivers. Anyway, with this light, say your receiver wasn't working or you couldn't hear very well, if the flagman hit the yellow light, a yellow light instantaneously would come on in your vehicle, wherever you mount it, so you can see it. Now, the system has the ability also to do green, white, checkered, yellow, red. However, I remember, and I've always said this, I remember telling this to Leo Burkhardsmeyer back when receivers, when I was a dealer for receivers, when they very first came out, we were the beta tester for WSOTA at the Red River Valley Speedway. Leo says, I've been listening to race car engines for years, and I can't hear. And I said, well, Leo, if you hear anything, it's either me or God, so slow down. If you hear something in your ears while you're racing. There are tracks around the country that I'm told, I can't say that I've raced at one. Maybe I have heard move over once. I don't remember. I've heard something by accident, but it breaks your concentration for a second, I feel. So I don't know how well I do in a NASCAR race, somebody talking to me all the time. However, what do you feel about that? Would, having that, that silence, and would you want a green light on the whole time and then a yellow, or would you like it only to come on if there's yellow or red for safety reasons? And what do you think of that setup of a track having something like that? I truly think, as if you're trying to be safety conscious, I think it gives the driver an opportunity, an extra split second to helpfully avoid that at caution. I don't know that you need to use the green, white, and checkered. I don't know if having the tower flash that the white flags out is beneficiary to the driver or not. The checker might be, because it would tell people, hey, the race is over, slow down, because I know sometimes they're still racing on the cool down lap because they didn't see the flag and they were pretty intent on racing. I would like to talk to some of the street stock drivers or some of the Challenge Series drivers who have used that system and see what they think of that system. and whether they think that, it is something that tracks are going to implement. If you talk to Raceiver, Lightseaver, they are really gaining steam in a lot of different areas around the country. I've seen them down south at the short track of Alabama. I was up there. That's where I first saw it a couple of years ago. And they use it. They mandate it in all the cars. So I'm just curious. Like I said, I had a couple street stock drivers that used it at I-94 EMR Speedway for the Wissota 100. And they're like, hey, your track needs to get these. These are a great deal. So I'm just curious what everybody else thinks. So anyway, that wraps up our very first week. I'm glad I heard it this morning. Well, I wonder if I'd have got a phone call from you, Addison. Would you have been like, hey, where you at?
Yeah, you would have gotten a really confused phone call from me too.
Where you at? So, hey, Bonnie and who is the friend in the morning?
Jace. That would be our sportsman, Jace Denman.
Is that Jace that's with him?
Yeah.
With Bonnie? I didn't know that. I recognize the voice, but I didn't know. I haven't been in here since Jeff used to be in here with her.
I don't envy those guys coming in so early in the morning.
Bonnie will be in in an hour? I mean, she's like 3 o'clock in the morning, isn't she? She gets in here?
Sometimes she does get in here pretty early.
So anyway, glad I heard her. I'll have to give her a thank you for telling me it was track dock night tonight. So, hey, I appreciate it. Addison, as always, good job. Everybody, thanks for the good comments. Yeah, it does, Steve. It sounds like a great thing. We're going to talk to a driver more about it next week. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Tell us how you thought of this new system and everything. Till next week, 2 weeks from now, everybody. We'll see you.